Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part two of this two-part series for installing Active Directory domain services using Microsoft Azure. Just to give a quick recap of part one, we created two virtual machines. Virtual machine one is running Windows Server 2022 and is going to act as our domain controller. And virtual machine number two will be our client and it's running Windows 10. For part two, I'm just going to give a quick down and dirty outline of what all we're going to do. There's going to be a lot of intermediary steps. I'm just giving you the bulk outline of what we're going to do. We're going to install Active Directory to Server 2022 virtual machine. We're going to create an administrative user or a user with admin privileges. We will then join the virtual machine number two or client one to the domain that will be hosted through our domain controller or virtual machine number one. We will set up remote desktop for non-admin users on client one. And then lastly, we are going to create dozens, if not hundreds of users with a PowerShell script to act as the employees of our company. This is going to take longer than usual simply because it takes a while for all these systems to be installed on the virtual machine. So just be ready for that. So as per usual, grab you a go-go, coffee, whatever you need, and I will see you guys in the classroom. It goes without saying, but you are going to need the virtual machines that we created previously. So if you forgot how to do that, then just click down in the description below and I have a link to the previous video showing you how to install the two virtual machines that you will need for this lab. The first thing that we are going to do is log into DC1 and install Active Directory. So select DC1, copy your public IP address, and then launch remote desktop. Again, you can also go to connect, select RDP, and download the RDP file. Whatever you choose to do, that's fine. I'm going to paste it, connect, more choices, different account, student one, password, yes. Again, just a reminder, this is what takes the longest, is logging in and waiting for these programs to install certain systems. This is what's the most time consuming part of this. I will clip out the dead space in between the scenes or in between portions, which is what will make my installation seem a lot faster. But trust me, it takes at least 40 to 45 minutes maybe to install everything. So just be patient. Yes. Remember, DC1, you know you are in the virtual machine running server when the server manager pops up. Again, while this is loading up, you can just go to CMD, hit enter. So machine's running slow. Type in host name, DC1, domain controller. Close this out. I should be ready to go. There's usually a little blue line that kind of just runs through here, just showing you that it's still loading. So if you hit, the first thing we're going to do is select add roles and features. If server manager is not ready to go, you will be prompted with a window here that says this feature is not yet available because again, server manager is still loading up. Okay, select add roles and features, hit next. Make sure role-based or feature-based installation is selected. Hit next. Make sure it should only be your domain controller, the virtual machine we just created, but make sure that's selected and hit next. Now, pay attention because there's a few options here that include Active Directory. The one that we want, for me, it's the second one down. It should be the same for you. It's Active Directory Domain Services. You're going to select the box and another window is going to pop up. So select that. And it's just showing you the features that are going to be installed. So select Add Features. Hit Next. 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 install. As you can see, installation, you'll have this notification, configuration required, installation succeeded. Go ahead and close this out. And you know you're good to go when this exclamation mark on your notifications pops up over here, top right. So select that next. And you're going to promote this server to a domain controller. From the deployment configuration, you want to select add a new forest. In a later video, I will explain to you what exactly a forest is and what organizational units are, OUs, because I will talk, you will hear that today. It's just that I don't want to make this video any longer than it is, but trust me, I have a whole presentation for you guys on, on forest and OUs. Okay, so unfortunately, just to keep it simple, I'm not going to explain it today. But the name of the domain is going to be mydomain.com. Just know that the domain will usually reflect the organization or the corporation, the company that you're with. So if, let's say, this is Raynet Corporation, the domain will be something like sales.raynet.com. But just for training purposes, we're going to use mydomain.com. You can put whatever you like in this case. Select next. And down here at the bottom where it says type the directory services restore mode, this is it helps prevent accidental deletion of the domain controller. So just put a password in here. It doesn't matter because we're going to delete this lab at the end of the day anyways, but you need a password in order to continue. So select next. Select next. You're going to wait while NetBIOS produces your domain. There it is, my domain. Select next. Select next. Next. And select install. The last step of installing or promoting this machine to domain controller is that you're going to have to restart your virtual machine. So you will get a notification saying that you need to restart, or it will just restart it for you automatically. So don't be alarmed if that happens. Okay, you'll get this notification that says this server was successfully configured as a domain controller and you're about to be signed out. This computer is being restarted. Okay, just hit close and just wait for this to kick you out. Select OK. We'll close this out, go back to overview, and then we're going to copy the public IP address again, go back to remote desktop, connect. Now be aware, it may say student1 or whatever you called your username initially, but because now we have a domain assigned to us, we need to assign that prefix to our username. So you're going to go to more choices, use a different account. And now you're going to do at the prefix mydomain.com or whatever you named your domain, / and then the name of your user with the same password. Hit OK. Good to go. Yes. All right, here we go. You should be back in your server manager, and all these roles and servers or server groups should have already came up. Close this out if you want to. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to create a user and grant him or her administrative privileges. And we're also going to create some organizational units or OUs. So you want to go up here to the top right where it says tools, and you want to select Active Directory users and computers. And something else you would like to do is these the icons down here, just right click on each one of them and then pin them to the taskbar. Okay. It'll just, help to bring them up whenever we need to, make it a little easier on us. As you can see, when you go to users and computers, here is our domain that we created, mydomain.com. Now, if you go to users, so a lot of these groups are automatically created and installed whenever we install Active Directory. As you can see, this is a user that we created for the virtual machine. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you go to mydomain.com, right click and select new and go down to organizational unit. And we are going to call this, you can call it whatever you want, but for simplicity here, I'm going to go underscore, and then in all capital letters, I'm going to call it admins. Then hit OK. Go to mydomain.com, right click and refresh. And there it is at the top. It just makes it easier to identify it as a group that we created ourselves. So click on that, on admins, and then in this open space, you're going to right click, select new, and you're going to go down to the bottom where it says user. We are going to create a user, any user you want. I am going to create my boy Jack, last name Daniels. The user logon is going to be Jack -admin. And then we're going to select next, assign him a password. Mine will be password 1. I'm going to uncheck user must change password at next logon, and I'm going to select password never expires and hit next. Finish. Okay, so just because we created an organizational unit called admins and we put Jack in this OU doesn't mean that Jack has admin privileges. We still have to grant him or her those privileges. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the user, right click, go to properties. Or you could just double click his name. Doesn't matter. And out of all of these selections, you want to go to the top one, top left that says member of. And as of right now, again, domain users, this is one of the, let me close this out. This is one of the groups that is created automatically when you install Active Directory. As you can see, here it is, domain users. If you double click it, open it, select members, these are the members right here. Student 1, which is our original user, and then here's Jack Daniels. Close that out. Go back to admins, go to Jack, double click, member of, and we're going to go to add. And right here, you're going to type in domain. You're going to check names, and you're going to want to select domain admins right here in the very top. Hit OK. OK. Apply and OK. Now, if you go back to Jack, member of, and he is now a member of the admins, which means he has administrative privileges. So what we're going to do now is you're going to close this out, and you're going to log out, or just close out your virtual machine. And we're going to log back in as Jack. Copy, open this up, paste and connect, more choices, different account, mydomain.com /Jack-admin password 1. Okay. Good to go. Okay. Now, and then go here to command prompt and look at that. We're logged in as Jack Admin. So who am I? I'm Jack Admin, part of DC1. Good to go. You can close this out. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add client 1 to the domain. So the first thing you want to do is you should be here in your virtual machines. If you're not here, just go to home, select virtual machines, go to client 1. And then right here under all these blades, you want to go under settings and select networking. Oh, I digress. Let me back up. first go to DC1, okay, and go to Overview. You should be right here. Now you have your public IP here. Now if you scroll down to the bottom to this next section, you should see the private IP address. You want to copy that or take note of it. And this plays a role as to why we selected or changed the IP settings from dynamic to static. We don't want this IP address to change. So go back to client 1. Under settings, select networking. You're going to click on the NIC, the network interface up here. And then on the left, under settings, you're going to go down to DNS servers. And under DNS servers right here, right now it's inherit from virtual network. You're going to go to custom. Under DNS server, it says add DNS server. You're going to paste the IP address and hit save. Once you're able to save this and it's been successful, you want to select virtual machines up here in the top left. Go back to client 1, and then right here under these top settings, you want to select restart. You want to restart client 1? Yes. And this will take another minute or two. Okay, now that it's restarted, what you want to do is we are going to log in with the username that we created initially for client 1. So for me, it was student 2. So I'm going to copy the public IP address, open a remote desktop, paste, connect. More choices, different account, student 2 with its password. Okay, yes. Okay. Now what we're going to do is once you're logged in here, you're going to go to the Windows icon down here at the bottom left. You're going to right click and go to System. And over here under related settings on the right hand side, you're going to go down to the bottom where it says rename this PC advanced. Run this to them right here. Okay. And you're going to want to go to the very last option where it says to rename this computer or change its domain or work group, click change. So click change. And you're going to select member of, and you're going to type in the domain, mydomain.com, and hit OK. So now you have to put in the credentials of someone that has permission to join the domain. Okay, and remember, we just created a user with admin privileges. So the username is Jack, admin, password 1, hit OK. And then you get this notification that says, welcome to the mydomain.com domain, hit OK. And you will have to restart your virtual machine. So hit OK, close this out, restart now. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to log into client 1 as Jack, because again, he's got admin privileges. And we're going to set up remote desktop for client 1. So that way, any new user that we have will have access to the domain. And that's users that don't have administrative privileges. So you're going to copy the public IP address, remote desktop, paste and connect. More choices, use a different account, mydomain.com / Jack admin, password 1, yes. We are in, good to go. Once you've successfully logged in as your admin user, you're going to go back to the Windows icon in the bottom left. You're going to right click. You're going to go to System again. Now, again, under related settings over on the right hand side, you're going to select remote desktop. Then right here at the very bottom under user accounts, you're going to select users that can remotely access this PC. And you're going to select add. And right here, you're going to type in domain, check names, and you're going to select domain users right here at the very bottom and hit OK. Hit OK. And you can see my domain /domain users has been added. Now, by default, whenever you create a user through Active Directory users and computers, they will be part of domain users. So any account you create through there will now have access to the domain without having to have administrative privileges. So select OK, close this out, close this whole virtual machine out, and hit OK. And now we're going to go back to the domain controller, copy the clipboard, remote desktop, paste and connect. We are already logged in as Jack. Password 1, enter. Yes. Okay, once you're here, minimize this, and we're gonna. Okay, so sorry, go back to tools and select users and computers. Let me pin this to the taskbar since this is a different account. Okay, minimize this, maximize this. Now, if you go down here to mydomain.com and you select computers, drop this down. If you click on computers, you can see now client 1 shows up as a computer that's part of the domain. Client 1, operating system, Windows 10 Pro, that's the virtual machine that we're using. Member of mydomain.com. Good to go. So next, what we're going to do is we'll minimize this. This is where it might get, it's a little outside of, it actually is outside of the scope of this lab, but it's just to kind of give you a better understanding of being in a company with multiple employees, like hundreds of employees. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a script that will allow us to create all these users. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to paste in a folder that has the scripts that you can get from my GitHub. Link will be in the description. Okay, open this up. And there are 2 different scripts here that you can run. One of them will run this name generator. It will create an organizational and it will add them to an OU under users and computers. So if you open this back up, you would have to create another organizational unit here called employees or users or whatever you want to call it, right? Employees would probably make sense. And then the other one will grab users from this list, this PDF file that we already have. So as you can see, I've added some names on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase Jack Daniels because he's already on the list. I put my name on there. Okay. And this is just a bunch of names that were created from an online generator. Okay. So save that, close it out. Okay. Close this out. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go down here to the search box and type in power because we're going to use Windows PowerShell. You're going to use the Windows PowerShell ISE, right click, and you're going to run it as an administrator. Select yes. Okay, and so all that, close this out. PowerShell it's like a script. It's a command line for a scripting language that belongs to Microsoft. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this folder and you're going to open a script and go to desktop or wherever it is that you placed the script. And you're going to hit this folder and I'm going to select the create users. What's going on, everyone? So I'm editing this video, and I realized that the explanation I was given about the script just really didn't make sense. I wasn't really breaking it down. Again, this is out of the purview or out of the scope of this class. This is just some additional training, so to speak. So I've pulled it up again on in a virtual environment, and I just want to give you a very basic breakdown of what this is. When we run this script, all it's essentially going to do is like going to Active Directory users and computers, and it's going to create all of the users that are on this list right here. All of these users, plus whatever users you want to add yourself. Okay, again, this list was derived from Google through a name generator. I saved it as a text file, and it's here now. And so as you can see right here, these variables, the password for the users, when you're creating the user and you have to assign a password, it's going to assign the same password to every single one of these users, which is right here, password1 with a capital P. This variable, it's getting the content from this text file, which is right here. And then if you are having to create an OU and you change it like I did, changed it to employees, that's what this would be right here. It's going to change it. When the one that I have pulled up is users, so it's going to create this OU called users, and then it's going to uncheck the accidental deletion selection. And for the new users that it's creating, this is a format for it. First name, last name, the display name, aka the username. The path for the user is going to go in the organizational unit. That's what the OU stands for. Underscore users, or whatever it is that you name it up here. But this has to match this. Or if you are not creating a new OU, this doesn't have to be in there. You can just delete that, or you can even delete this because nothing's being created. Delete that. Then this path has to match wherever it is that you want it to go to. But that's it. And that's might seem a little daunting, a little complicated, but again, it's outside of the scope of this lab. It's just some extra nuggets for you to have. I got to change. So the first thing I have to do, because I have to actually change my working directory to where this is located. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit change directory, C drive, / users, / jack, / desktop. Okay, enter. There we go. Now I can run it. Boom. Okay, so it's creating, let's see what's happening. So obviously I'm getting a lot of errors here as expected. So I'm gonna go back to here and I'm gonna click mydomain.com and refresh to see if anything's happening. All right, there we go. So it created the employees OU, but it hasn't imported any of the users. So I'm gonna stop running the script. What's happening here? Add user, directory object not found. Create users. Give me 1 second. Oh shit, what the hell? Okay. I know what happened here because I'm an idiot. Path OU. I changed the OU up here, but I didn't down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna backspace this and call it employees. Save. I think I'm gonna try running it again, but it's going to. Actually, I'm just gonna backspace because I don't need to add a new organization. Save, run. There we go. So it's creating all of these users, right? So if you go back in here now, here is the OU that it created. And if I refresh, here's all the users that script has created for me. Let's click on A. Burke. And this is Alberto Burke. Display name will be A. Burke. member of, domain users. Okay, so let me minimize this. Okay, so by the time you guys get the script, it'll be modified from on my GitHub. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do that right now as a matter of fact. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so all the users have been created. So I'm gonna minimize this, go back to users and computers. I'm going to go to employees, right click and refresh. Awesome. So now let's go to mydomain.com and hit find. And then make sure right here, mydomain.com is selected. And let's go with Ray. Find now. There we are. Look at that. R. Espinoza. So if we minimize this, okay, let's go to client 1. I'm going to copy the public IP address here. Go to remote desktop, right click, remote desktop connection. Paste and enter. More choices. Use a different account. mydomain.com /R Espinoza. Password should be password 1. Here we go. Look at that. Success. And while that's loading up, let me minimize this and go back to this. So what's going on now is I'm logging in as Ray Espinoza. He's just part of he's another user, new employee. And so now you can kind of mess around here and you can see all your users. You can create a lot of different OUs, right? So let's create another one called, for example, organization or unit. We'll call this HR for human resources. mydomain.com, new OU. We'll call this one sales. I'm just making stuff up at this point. We'll call this one engineering. Okay. Right click, refresh. All right. And so now you can build these scenarios in your head or whatever. You can even script it out. And you now have under employees, you've got hundreds, thousands of users, and you can just pick and choose however many you want, and pluck them into each one of these individual OUs and give whoever you want administrative privileges, see who's a manager or whatever the case may be, right? And let's go now to let's go to domain users. Okay, members. Look at all the members now. You see they're all automatically plugged into the members folder. Look at that. Oh, woo, man. Oh, who that? Look at that. Who that? That's me. That's me. Okay, let's go back over to. Here I am. Look at that. CMD. Who am I? R. Espinoza. So host name, client 1. I'm in there as R. Espinoza. So I could just change directory. Users R. Espinoza. There I am. Nice. And then something else to show you here that I meant to show you earlier. If you go to ipconfig /all, if you look down here to your adapters and internet, if you look at the DNS server, right? I'm still hooked up to the domain controller's private IP address. So pretty cool. Now for the last step, the most important step. Close this out and hit OK. Close this out and hit OK. And you want to go home, resource groups. Click on the first resource group and delete this resource group. So it doesn't, I'm using the pay as you go. So I don't want it to take my money. Network watcher, delete resource group, delete. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I am at an hour and 13 minutes, but I did spend some time troubleshooting the script why it wasn't working right. By the time this video is live, whatever link is in the description box for my GitHub account to look at the scripts for your PowerShell will be good to go. So yeah, I think we're set. We're good. I hope you guys enjoy that lab. Again, you just kind of have to run with it and just come up with the scenarios. For the next big lab, what we're going to do is we are going to install a ticketing system. Just to show you, yeah, here we go, OS ticket. So for the next lab, we will be installing OS ticket. Won't be the next video, it'll just be the next lab that comes up whenever I decide to post that. But this will be it, installing a ticketing system. It'll be another lengthy lab, so it might be broken down into 2 videos again. The first one is just creating our resources, which it's not as bad because I think yeah, it's just a a Windows 10 machine. So we'll see. We'll see how I set it up. But anyways, I think that's enough talking for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Any questions, concerns, whatever, just comment down below. Let me know. Any feedback is much appreciated. And thank you so much for all the support. I will catch you guys on the next hilltop. Rain it out.